Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show. The one and only Bridgeman and my big mucker, Southside. How we doing, gentlemen?
Hi, good evening, Ox, and good to be back on with the legend, the Bridgeman. And good evening, everyone listening in this evening.
Can I say a huge good evening to you guys? Thanks very much for partnering me here, Southside, or I'm partnering with you, one of the two. And obviously, the techie guy, he's on the lonesome cowboy. On the back, well, Foxy boy. So can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here, Rangers Radio, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Listen, if you two don't mind, well, first of all, how are you, Southside?
Could have been better, to be honest. Aye, all right, mate. Aye, I've been fine, mate. It's been.
How you, Bridge?
I'm cool, thank you. I'm very cool.
Yeah, I just want to. I'm good. I just want to lighten the mood a wee bit, give you some information, and some of the panel members will be back with us shortly Wednesday evening, I believe. But I wouldn't tell you his name, but let's just say it. So, give Vivi, if that's a clue. So, he went to a religious festival yesterday, and he's the only guy I know comes in with 4 curries, 8 naan breads, and 2 boxes of celebrations. Southside.
Heard he was complaining the naan bread was plain and all he wanted garlic naan.
well, there you go. Anyway, right, I want to start here if you don't mind, if you want to listen, and then we'll get your views on it if that's all right. You, Southside?
Yeah, aye, mate. If you've got something to say, let's hear it.
Right, I want to start with this. Right, I think the selection's been pure. The lack of consistency has been awful. But decision-making has been appalling. The lack of creativity and imagination has been shocking. Right, that's me got the Super Six out the way. Let's move on to the football. Bridgeman?
Oh, Southside, that's a shocker, man. What a shocker you are, man. Shocker. I do not gamble in that sense, you know. So I don't partake. However, he has been good and bad. He was good the very first week, I think it was.
Yeah, yes.
I think he's been pretty poor since then. I think if he was a Rangers player, he'd be on his ready to go, you know. The manager would.
His Rangers bets have been superb. His Super Six has been entertaining. Anyway, let's move on to the match. And by the way, the match was similar to that. So I said, I'll give you my take on it quickly and you can come back with yours. I couldn't understand the selection, and I'll tell you why. I get that maybe play Scotty Arfield, maybe if you like the number 10 role, try to join in. No wide right, no on that game. Aye, maybe do it at Anfield when we needed somebody there with experience and maybe put a shift in. But he's not going to get involved and he's not going to create anything for that position. So then we end up lopsided and the game just peters out. We lose a bad goal. What a isn't it? Good finish for the lad, gave him his credit, and then we huffed and puffed the first half. We lack creativity and we maybe lack confidence. Southside then, Bridge.
Aye, you probably nailed most of that. I was pretty shocked with how lacklustre it was in the first half, to be honest. I think Kent done one run in the first minute or two, go to the byline, cut it across, and that was the last we seen of that during the first half. I just thought it looked a bit... players didn't seem to move enough. When players have got the ball, we've seen it that we don't have a lot of pace and all that, but you've got to at least come and show for the ball. And it felt like one or two in that first half didn't show for the ball at times. When you're looking down and you're seeing a player go to the ball ups and then you're looking ahead to see who's coming short or who's coming to look for it. Honestly,
no options.
There was no options, and honestly, there was one or two of them at times I thought, you've just went and stood in beside a Livingston player as if I'm not available. When you were looking ahead, you'd have thought, you need to move now and go and look for space, and it was as if, no, they weren't really moving, which shocked me to a point, to be honest, because I noticed it and I said to my pal, look, watch him for 5 minutes and see what he does when we've got the ball. I said, watch him. And there was lack of movement, you know, and you're thinking, well, why is that happening? But poor, mate, honestly, it was really poor in the first half. And why we didn't play Scott right, I've got no idea. I thought he should have started. I didn't have Arfield in my team when I picked it. And
I might have Darfield in my team, but not in that position, Southside.
Aye, I know. Gio said he's played it before and that, but we're at home and we were looking to attack them, and you're looking for width and getting to the byline or getting inside. So we lacked that severely in the first half. Ox.
Mm-hmm. Bridgman, stick to the first half. Slow, pedestrian, predictable, lack of chances.
Yeah, the first half for me, the first half of maybe the first 3 or 4 minutes, just before the guy scored, we looked a bit better, if you know what I mean, than we ended up in the previous game. Seriously, guys, it just stopped for them. Once that team put that ball in the net, heart went. The guys, to me, they offered absolutely nothing until the very end. When they got
when they scored, I wasn't worried, Bridge. I thought we would still have enough to see them off. Yeah.
Well,
I
said it last
don't
week,
like losing goals.
I said it last week, and I've been saying it for a wee while. There isn't anything in our team at the moment. I think the doing we got off of Liverpool is put the absolute frighteners on them. Seriously, absolute frighteners. And some of these guys are not. They're getting their money, but they ain't playing. They may think they're playing, but they're not playing. And I could see it all the time.
Well, the only guy I gave pass marks for the whole game was Ben Davies, personally,
Absolutely.
And by the way, funny enough, I thought Ryan Kent, back the quality we know he's got, I thought he kept going in the second half. Southside, I'll run this by you, mate. I'll be interested in your views on it, and Bridge can chip in after. So we know what we've got with Matondo, we know what we've got with Sincala. They're no players that you would. They're no buying Laudrup, and I think the boys would be first to admit that, yeah. But Sakala, and we talked about red zones and different things, so he hadn't played a lot of football, done all right against Hearts, good game against St Mirren, obviously played against Liverpool, don't know, nothing, nobody had a great game that night, well, he done okay in the first half of our team, and then with those goals, I don't see how he's at fault, disappears against Motherwell. And then we change him, and then he comes out of the squad altogether. Scott Wright comes in on Wednesday night, one of our better players. He doesn't even start on Saturday. So we're trying to plug this right side of midfield, and we play Scotty Arfield there. Some of the selections are baffling for me, mate. And I'm not saying that Sakala or Wright are the answers. All I'm saying is, if they get the shot, the day okay, and then you disappear, it doesn't add up. That's my point, Southside.
Aye, I know what you're getting at. He's probably asking, like you said, Sakala to come back in when he hadn't had a look in for ages in the games you mentioned, and you're asking him to go out there and sort of turn it round for the manager, when the manager's not really showed much faith in him. We did say we wanted him to try and get a chance, because on his day, some days he can be good, he can become a pest, he works hard, he tries. Might not always work for him, but you will get the effort out of him. But more probably is an impact player. Gio's decisions are baffling at times. That's what gets to me at times, when you can see, I thought Scott Wright, and I know it was only Dundee and it was in the cup, but you can only go on your last performance. And he looked busy, he can get the ball, he can be direct. Sometimes his end product isn't very good. Other occasions it's been pretty good because we've had goals for it. Confidence thing, I think, with wingers. Matondo gets another chance, and for me, when he came on at half time, he done virtually nothing until he went half. Ox, in my opinion, doesn't look like he's got the ability to go by a player. I think if you play the ball in front of him and he's maybe running down the line and he can go onto it, probably. But your winger, for me, gets the ball in tight situations or on the byline and he goes and beats a player. So for me, I think Scott Wright baffled. I thought he'd even come on at half time, Ox, because we did say expect changes at half time, but it wasn't the ones we thought he would make.
Right, I'll take this one to Bridge and then I'll come back to you, Biggie. Lundstrom, Stephen Davis as a pair for your quarterbacks, for the want of a better word, Bridge. As a pairing, I don't think they've ever blended, and we can see it, and we consistently see it. And then we go with them with a young boy Tillman who's learning his trade. I don't understand it, Bridgeman. I really don't.
Well, if you look, I'm one of the ones the last season, when at the tail end of last season, when I've said I want them to keep Stephen Davis, I want them to keep Arfield, and I wanted them to keep the big centre half, Balogun or something like that. I wanted them to keep all of them for another season, and they're doing well. Now we've got them starting the games. They're not supposed to be starting the games. They're supposed to be fill-ins. But, however, it needs must. So they're starting. And you can see they're not 100% fit. I'm telling you now, they're not 100% fit. None of our players are 100% fit. They're at least a yard, maybe a yard and a half slower than everybody else. That team gave us a runaround for that goal. They gave us a runaround. And then they got
it was a decent move, and my captain wasn't fit. The young boy showed his inexperience, and Ben Davis, who I thought was the best player, centre half, the best player, Bridgeman, and he should have got closer when the boy turned and put in. It was a good finish. I'll give the boy that. It was a good finish.
Yes. It was he's a big fella, and once he starts turning, you watch what you're doing, because he'll run over the top of you and bump you the way, you know. But no, he scored a good goal, and it was well done for them. No complaints from me other than our team. And from then on, it was a litany of mistakes. Dreadful play. They need to stop. They need to stop coming back. You know, you get down there and you get midway inside their half, and you don't end with the ball. Cut the ball out. Have a shot. Fly it in over the top of the bar. I don't care.
All right. I'm glad you managed. I'm glad you mentioned shooting, and this is the biggest problem we've got. Southside, we got that ball, and I think it was 80 odd minutes before their goalkeeper had a save to make.
I know, it's tragic. When you look at it like that, I think Kolak had a shot from outside the box that went by the post in the first half.
We should actually slid that to Arfield, mate.
Right.
Yeah.
I can remember that one just off the top of my head, but it was poor that we never actually tested the goalkeeper. And Bridge, see, the thing is, they got the goal in 4 minutes. Like everybody probably thought, we'll probably turn this round. Apart from that, they flashed one by our post in the first half. But apart from that, they never really troubled us in the first half. We just had the ball and we kept moving it with the end product, putting crosses in, the end product ops. Nobody at the edge of the box maybe thinking to look to get a shot off or get sort of to the byline and cut it back. And that was a problem.
Yeah, look, Southside, to be honest, we've got players that can play on the right and the left, but they can't, at the present moment, they can't get past anyone. The wide players are supposed to be able to go past people and get the ball across. However they do it, but they just got their goal, and to all intents and purposes, a couple of wee forays up the park, and then they sat in their own half. And they're playing for the 1-0 win. Rangers, well, stop Rangers, and and no matter what happens, stop the Rangers. And they did it. If we couldn't do nothing, we were running down the wing. Unfortunately, our captain is seriously slow. Must be injured. Must be. Because that's not his
If he's no injured, he should seriously think about retiring, mate. Because he's lost about 3 yards.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. Just unbelievable. Sometimes I can't believe it. However, I don't want to moan and bemoan the whole thing. Really and truly, I thought the first half, well, obviously for the whole game, I can't remember how much it was. Stat-wise, we were probably 80-20 in possession. But my God, we huffed and we puffed, and we did absolutely hee-haw. Even when the substitutes came on, we were a wee bit better, but not that much. Because really, you know, that their manager said it all. We just got our boys in the middle, and Rangers just put high balls in, and we just did the business and just got it a good idea. We didn't have any problem with Rangers, none at all. There you go.
Yeah, I just so the first half, Peter, and you're right, we made the chances. Stephen Davis understood that substitution Southside, so you played somebody that's meant to be a winger on the wing. We put Arfield in beside, so we've actually got a sort of becomes a 4-1. You agree?
I agree.
Meant to get involved. So I'm saying, okay, that's how we should have started the game, yeah. And let's see where this takes us. Well, we didn't get better. We made the ball and we put crosses in, but one guy in the box against 5. putting it in. Kent, for the first half of the second half, the only move he's got is letting Burner run at him. Burner's having to put it in. One guy against 5. Yeah, it was so predictable. And I think it was Albert says he uses a horseshoe, it goes out wide, and then we work it back across and we don't do anything. Well, I'm a simple man, as you too well know. If you don't shoot south side, you never score, mate.
I know. I mean, if you get extra bodies in the box at that time, it might help. But a few times the ball was coming in and it was just Cholak going front post or trying to win a header. And they had the 2 centre-backs guarding them. And it was just soul-destroying to watch, mate. Honestly, it was... You're thinking, surely something will change. We'll maybe use a cutback, or Kent will get in the box and maybe it'll cause something else for people to make runs. But on the right, we had Kent trying it on the left and nothing was really coming down the right opposite. You seen Matondo on the right-hand side. They were struggling to get by his player. Heard the groans in the stadium. Puts probably more pressure on him. We know he's a young boy, you know that, but you've got to look as if you've got some ability. He's had some chances in games and he's just not really showed it in the league. And we're hoping that something would maybe come of that, but nothing. And obviously Tav looks like he's got 2 lead weights around his ankles because he can't get down and back down the touchline. So we're relying on our wingers to create, and it wasn't until obviously they get their man sent off that it gave us an extra man to try and put more balls in the box and obviously to try different things for them, wasn't it?
Aye. The only credit I will give this side for Saturday, Bridge, is they kept going. They kept going. Bridge, south side.
No, I'm here, pal. I'm here. I'm just back. I just made it back. Sorry. Yes, we kept going as much as possible, but let's keep them going. Look, we've seen this thing before, and particularly Livingston, they've just come and camp. Just camp. That's all they do. Camp down there. And there's other teams do it as well, but particularly Livingston. And they always manage to get close to getting a goal or get a goal. And the ball was going. I tell you, all the Rangers players, I'll bet you like they were in jitters. And the relief going through that team when Rangers got a goal, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And through the fans, whatever fans were left, because I was pretty deserted.
So say, if me and you are running an amateur team and you keep you're in tap and you keep trying something that's not coming off and you keep doing it in games consistently and you're not scoring goals regular, like Saturday, I believe we put in 73 crosses. Now the last time I seen as many crosses as that was your old school, right? So but if you're doing that and it's not working, if it's not working, and it looks as if it's instruction, that's what we do. There's something, there's questions got to be asked.
Aye, but the managers get stubborn, you know. I mean, Warburton had the way you play.
We've been doing this for a while, mate. And see when Warburton, you mentioned him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stevie G was stubborn and all with the system.
Aye.
We're probably more successful to a point, but stubborn. And I know what you're saying, Gio. You're putting crosses in. I just think if you had more bodies in the box, see, at the end of the day, if you look at the chances towards the end of the game, and I know we had more players on and that, but we had headers. We were running headers in the box when we had more players in the box when we were putting them in the last few minutes. I know that's not good enough, but I'm just saying, I mean, Lundstrom nearly put one out of the bar. Cholak get one put out of the bar with the goalkeeper. We were starting to win the headers late on in the game, but we obviously had a lot more bodies in the box.
So what does that?
It's still no. You need more bodies in the box if you're going to put a lot of crosses in.
Thank you, mate. All right, okay. Right, we've had
while you're on that point, can I just ask you two guys? We are, I mean, I don't know where Liverpool's getting their players from and things like that, but they've got some big strapping lads. I'm not saying they're the best players never, but my God, they're effective. They're good at blocking. They're a bit dirty when they want to be. The referee doesn't do anything about it. VAR has not helped us at all with some of these instances. Maybe many players were booked in I can't remember how many were booked. I bet there were more Rangers players booked anyway, that's for sure. I can't believe it. I came out of there once again. I came out of Ibrox and I couldn't stop worrying about things. I just couldn't get my mind right. I can't believe it. We're just woeful and we need to get something done about it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we've got a decision to make, stick or twist, and we'll get your views. But if it's all right with you two chaps, I think we'll get the phone lines open, yeah?
Yeah, go for it. Sure, it might be lively.
Might be. Bridge?
Go for it, pal, for me. Go for it.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, so who in football, the manager gets the blame, and sometimes it's the players that don't perform. You know, we always go at Ibrox, we've done it before, it's all about scoring goals. And we're struggling to score goals. Let's be honest, Southside, it's not something we've done freely all season. That's twice we've played Livingston, and we've struggled. Yeah, so your system's not working, and when you're predictable, you said about Warburton, that's what ended up causing Warburton problems. Plan A, Plan B, so teams, you set yourself up, snuff you out, and they've got a plan where they go to try and hurt you. Yeah, for us, it's behind our fullbacks. Get it in the box and see what happens.
I think recent performances probably a result like that on Saturday. You'd had one bad result at home and didn't play well, and you could probably have went still no good enough for Rangers, but it's happened and you've been playing all right before it, and you could probably get away with a sort of performance like that also happens. But when we've been playing so poorly, it's no. I think if the Croziers were coming in, it were better. But I still thought at times on Saturday, when Kent was getting down the flank and Borna, and you looked across and see when you mentioned Warburton, it was like that. One person in the box, nobody else there. You know, they're all supposed to be coming to the edge of the box. We didn't seem to have Arfield in there. And obviously you're looking at Stephen Davis, who was meant to be playing further forward than Lundstrom. He was meant to be getting up to the edge of the box and probably getting himself in there, and that wasn't happening. It's frustrating, but we've been like that. And before we were managing to create chances and score them, and now we're no, because usually the first ball in's been pretty poor. It's not been beating the first man-ups.
Did you notice that then?
There was a lot of that, wasn't there? There was a lot of crosses.
It's just shocking.
There was a couple that Tab put in, mate, particularly in the first half, I remember, mate, who I don't know what he was trying to do, because they went for his wing and they went near enough out to Kent, who was away wide at the other side of the park. Wasn't it a cross?
Unbelievable stuff.
You two are experienced campaigners. Just answer me this: is this down to confidence system, or is there something broken?
I think there's a confidence issue.
Okay.
And I think
when you go outside, carry on, mate.
I think probably players have been in and out the team, and I don't know. I think there's a wee bit of a disconnect now, but see, at the end of the day, these players should be playing for the club first and foremost, and the support. So I want to see effort and I want to see hard work. But it's a massive confidence thing in the Ox. There's got to be with some of the results that we've took, and some of the performances haven't been good. And if you're maybe thinking, when we're sitting saying Tav's in there playing with an injury, and we all believe he is, and the players are seeing it, and they're saying, well, other players that are out the team maybe be wondering how man will get in the game. I know there's only one person, maybe young boy Divine. I don't think Rangers think he's ready yet. Apart from maybe putting Sands at right back and placing him, I don't see how else he would change it, but definitely confidence helps, I think, throughout the club now.
Might as well put Arfield at right back, with him everywhere else. Briefman?
Yeah, I've said it so many times. Goals is not there. You see the shambles that we are, and we don't have a rock. where you need somebody to be your rock. And I'm afraid Golson was it. And people bemoaned him and all the rest of it. And I did it myself sometimes. But I'm serious, and you now see what that man was worth to the team and all the players, because they could depend on him for whatever reason. So it was all there, and I'm afraid it's all going away now. And I don't know when it's going to stop. It's a drain on Rangers at the moment as a football. And I cannot believe that in fact, I cannot believe we actually got a goal. Yeah, that's how poor we were. Lucky, and I was happy, delighted to get a goal. But my God, we
should have won at the finish up. We should have won. Lundstrom should score. Lundstrom should score a last touch. Yeah.
Absolute sitters.
You know, but look, I get your opinion about Golson, but he's the only light we've got this now. Ben Davies, south side. Yeah, looks very comfortable on the ball and assured.
Yep, he's looked good, mate. He's looked comfortable. It looks like it balanced the left-hand side for us, didn't it?
Aye. Well, many example, we've got 4 centre halves out, is that right? Ellender, Suter, Golson. There's another one. Is there not another one? I may be wrong there. Maybe it's a 3.
3 not enough. 3 not enough, and obviously you've lost Balogun and Bassey, but that partnership looks as if the two of them fit has got a wee bit of steadying up today in Scottish football. Southside, Davis and Golson, yeah.
Aye, 100%. I think that looked comfortable, mate. I think when you get a left-sided defender and it'll complement Golson, I think he looked comfortable beside him for the short spell that they were starting to play together. And I think when we had Highlander back at the time, the two of them looked comfortable. I think it's when we move a player with a right foot. Look, we've done it with Suter and we've done it with Sands, and he doesn't look as comfortable. But he's an experienced player, Ben Davies, so it should be easier for him for he settle into your club, you know. He's getting a tough time out now, but it's might as well learn on the job, mate.
He's a high quality player. You can see it in virtually every movement. Now, obviously, there's going to be the times when they make the mistake, they put a too long a pass or too short a pass or too wide and so on. So all the wee things that matter. But invariably, the boy plays well, reads the game. Most importantly, he can read the game, and it makes a big difference to yourself. And there's very few people can actually read the game like a defender. I'll tell you that.
I think we'll be joined by Ian. How are we doing, Ian?
No bad. How you?
Hi, Ian.
All right, mate.
Yeah.
All right with you, mate?
I am fine. Still breathing. It's the main thing. When I wake up in the morning, breathing, it's a bonus.
Oh, mate, we're proud of you. Listen, get it off, mate. Get it off.
Right. Here we go. I don't know if there's anything happening in the dressing room or at the board level with Gio and everybody else, but my philosophy is, even though if there's any discontent somewhere, even in the dressing room, should you not be getting these 11 players not be coming out and playing out their skins for the team that's paying them thousands, rather than just come out and kick the ball about as if they don't care? And what I've noticed this year, I don't know if you'll agree with me, we looked fit as anything last year. I mean, we're really up to fitness, fit as I've ever seen Rangers. And this year we just look lazy and laborious, and there's a lot of players not tracking back as if, look, I'm not running back for that ball, I'll just leave it for somebody else. So I just wondered what you thought about that.
Right, I've discussed it with a certain individual in here a lot, and I'm talking about since maybe August, Ofair, and I'll let him get his say on it. Southside.
Ian, we're nowhere near fit. We're nowhere near as fit. The one thing I thought once we signed Stevie G, I thought, great, he'll have a fitness level. Look at him as a player, do you know what I mean? And I thought, and then it was proved right. We were a fit team. We could run all day. And it showed, and we picked up maybe the odd serious injury, but didn't pick up a lot of wee niggling injuries. No, a lot of the players were pretty fit, apart from the ones maybe injury prone like Roof. But miles off it, and I think even when Gio took over, that squad still had a good level of fitness about it. And I think that's what took us right through all the extra times last season. So Gio had a full pre-season with that squad. And I think when you look at the squad and you look at the way they're running about and how they ball out dead easy, I just think they're no as fit, to be honest. And I've said it right for the start. That was my first thing I've always said. Don't think that squad's anywhere near as fit. But doesn't mean that you can't go and put an effort in. You've got to go and put an effort in for the team.
There's still a game to go out and play. If you get to play for your team, it doesn't matter how fit you feel or no, you're still going to try.
There's a lot of players.
Some of them don't look as if they're trying, do you know what I mean? And it's just, we're agreeing on them being unfit. Whose fault is that?
That comes down to Gio and his management team, doesn't it?
Aye, well, going by the league results and European results and everything else that's happening, then talking about keeping the players fit up to scratch is down to Gio and all. Well, everything belongs to Gio's fault, as everybody looks at it now. And that's why they're all crying for his head to get him out. Because we're going down and down and down and down. And I don't see where we're going to really be going. I mean, this Champions League to me is just a sidekick to make some money out of it and thing we on the domestic front. But I know we've been playing bad, been getting some results. But that game against Lovey, it was just, we were back to that side-to-side passing, long balls, side-to-side passing, long balls, and getting nowhere. And they weren't relying on a low block. They were coming out at us to play football. And that's when we usually play our best, and we didn't.
I think a lot of people would say we're regressing, no progressing.
Have we gone backwards?
Bridgman?
Sadly, he's all right. For me, anyway, it's just so noticeable now. And you know, from God, mate, it's not even that. It's hardly 6 months, just over 6 months, when we were cheering them on to get out to Seville, and thousands went, and all of that's like a vastly far distant memory. And I came out of that game and I thought to myself, we've just lost the league. We have just lost any opportunity.
I don't think it's. I understand that. I don't think we're going to that stage yet. But we've got is an issue, and I'll let you come back in, Bridge. We've got a decision to make as a club. Do we stick or twist? And it's a big decision.
Look, I think we've got ourselves boxed in. We've got a group of players and no leaders. You know what I mean? He calls Stephen Davis and Scotty Arfield a leader, and some others, but really they're not the authoritative leader, you know. So in Tab, I'm afraid, can he manage himself? You know, look at never mind tell the boys what to do. So it would be quite embarrassing if Tavernier was telling people you need to do this and do that when he can't do it himself or isn't doing it. Let's put it that way. I think that's sad that a club like Rangers don't have that John Gregg type person, or somebody that's really, really tough. Wee Barry Ferguson or something. You just get in there and get tore in. They don't do it. Ian Ferguson. We haven't got players like that, unfortunately. Maybe the game it doesn't have any of these players. But when I love watching the English Premier League, and when I watch their games, the league's full of them. Absolutely full of them. So there's good players available.
I think Southside, I know you're a loyal guy, and I think we're all loyal people. That's my background. And I'm not saying that Giovanni should go, but we're getting to a stage where do you stick or do you twist? Can you afford to get rid? Can you afford to keep? Yeah? I know that when you're talking to members of your family, you've got different opinion, yeah?
Mm-hmm. I know that at the end of the day, everybody's got a tipping point, right? And probably Kenny, it comes on here, had a tipping point probably a week or two ago. I tried to get
Fox on that, but he said he would do it as long as he didn't have to answer the questions.
and he gave his view quite rightly and gave it well about he thinks, and it's like you say, it's getting a groundswell. We are at a sticky point, right? The thing is, Ross Wilson has got a lot to do with this as well, because the board haven't gave him full playing control a squad rotation in the footballing side of our club to control, bring players in, appoint a manager for a start. So, okay, if people get their wish and eventually Gio goes through results, then do we trust Ross Wilson to actually appoint the next Rangers manager?
See, I blame Ross Wilson more than Gio. That's just my opinion.
But give us your thoughts on that, Ian, and then I'll go back to Southside.
I mean, you've heard of the saying, a yes man.
Yes.
I think Gio. I think yes, very good. I think Gio has maybe gone to the board with all his things in his seat, his ideas, his players, his names, and all that, and he's getting told no with Ross Wilson that no, I've picked this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I think that's what's maddening him as well. You can see in his face during the game. Do you know what I mean? And it's really hurting him. So I've not jumped on the bandwagon of the Gio out yet. Because I think Ross Wilson's got more to do than with the team than Gio has. Gio's got to do what he's getting told.
Playing devil's advocate a wee bit here, and this is only for obviously we brought Bassey in and shipped him out for a lot of money. He was a Ross Wilson signing. Ben Davis, who we've talked about, Big Cholak, yeah, and the boy Lawrence before he got injured Southside. So he would be argued that the one day people take time to settle. So he would say that his signings are all right, but we've also got Golson 4-year contract, Tavernier 4-year contract. We've extended Davis and Arfield.
And McGregor.
And McGregor.
See, you're picking three good ones out of a big collection of names.
Aye.
That Wilson did good for. Mm-hmm. And it's that big collection that everybody's upset about. It's still pulling their weight about the club.
I've got it here, mate. I've got it here. Let me just see.
Sorry.
No, it's all right, mate. Redfan, Matondo, Kolak, Suter, Lawrence, Tillman. So Bakuna, we made money on him. Aaron Ramsey, well, he's Lucas, Fashion, Offerboa, John Lundstrom, James Sands, Dalio, Kemar Roof, Hadji, Kimbari. Oh, I forgot about him. Cedric Itton, Scott Wright, Jermaine Defoe, Liam Valligan, John McLaughlin, and Calvin Bassett. I think that's them all. I'm not sure. So there's hits and misses in there, yeah. Financially, might have done all right for the club, but we're judged on results. Southside.
Aye, we are, and we're judged on a bit.
Jack Simpson, we made money in him and all, didn't we?
I see you're judged on results, not the amount of money you pull in.
Aye.
At the end of the day, he's the guy that gets the signings. I believe Gio's. We're all. There's no manager. See that Daft St Mirren manager they've got. He's took 5 players for the last time he was round about Motherwell and other clubs, and he's got them there. Some players and managers take players. Whether we're only talking about St Mirren, but he's took players. All managers do it, and yet our manager hasn't got one, not even in the reckoning. I just think Ross Wilson, he gave, whether Alan McGregor's playing the now and whether Stephen Davis is playing the now and whether Scott Arfield's playing the now, I believe day 3 would have went, and I thought we'd have freshened up our midfield with some signings. You know, I thought that's what we'd have done, and we didn't, Ian, and we stuck by the three players, and we gave them an extra year.
Sorry, but do you think we took the cheap way out? We bring it to keeping them.
They are experienced players. It just depends. I hope the question's asked at the AGM. If Gio is still away, Rangers come to AGM, depending on how results go in the league, it might depend in the squad. But I would love the question to get asked to the two of them. You tell me, please, do you actually sanction these players, or are they bought in for you and you've got to work with them? Yeah. And that's what we want answered, because that's what we need to know. Who's actually getting the final say on the player? Is it Ross Wilson? And you might go, I want a winger, I want a guy down the wing, blah, 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 it's fast, tricky, whatever. wanted him for Holland. No, sorry, we can't get him. He's out of price range. Fair enough if that happened, but we've got Matondo.
Aye.
And I think I've watched him, our scouts have watched him come back to Ross Wilson. Aye, he's going today. And then he sells it to Giovanni, and Giovanni says, right, okay, in the end, he might say, right, but whether he actually gets to sanction the signing, and if he doesn't, we've got to ask the board or Ross Wilson going forward then, see your next manager, are you be well managing the team, Ross Wilson? Because you're doing everything else but actually put the formation out.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. I wouldn't argue with that.
I'll cut across these lads. I think we've been joined by Alex, if you wish. All right.
I'm going to go, lads. Let you chat away.
Cheers, Ian. Always good to
Right,
hear from you,
thanks again.
Cheers, Ian.
Cheers, mate.
Right, see you after. Bye bye.
Cheers, Ian.
Ta-ra.
I think Alex will be back with us in a second. He'll be right with us. But aye. Well, Ian's got some points, and so I like that. So it's whether you're a coach or a manager. They're two different roles, eh?
Well, that's a role that needs to be defined. Don't get me wrong. He puts 11 players in that park on a formation, right? And he's culpable for some of the way that he's put the team out and team selection. He's culpable probably for some of the football than the way we've played in our style. We've played well in some games, and we've been deplorable in others. We've got injuries. I think there's one or two players that could come in and make a difference. But at the moment, we can only go by what we're seeing and what we've got available. And the new mate, he's responsible for that part, yeah. But Ross Wilson is also responsible for some of the signings that he's bringing in. And if you're telling me at the moment, and I know it's early days to judge a player, right, but I mean, look at Matondo. I mean, I know he's a young boy now. I know he was £11 million at an academy and went for Man City and that, but I mean, he's a young boy. Surely you've got a trick up your sleeve. You're a winger. You can go buy players. And he doesn't look like he's got any of that, does he, really?
I don't think it's a dog in the fight, mate. I think it's a heart in the dog.
Aye. What is it when the dog's barking about the caravan or something, isn't it? What nonsense, I know.
Bridgeman, you like a caravan?
That was good, that very. That was good. Like that, man. They got some strange sayings, haven't they? The whole thing it comes down to is I'm a Rangers fan and True Blue and all the rest of it calls me like, but I'll tell you now, I ain't enjoying the football. I ain't enjoying it. And if we ain't enjoying it, I heard some seriously sore comments coming from the players, the fans, as we were walking away to Ibrox. And I agree with every word they said. And it's just so sad that we're all cheering and very happy. Here we are. We're at our wits' end with them. Actually at our wits' end with them. We don't know what we're going to do. Some people are blaming the manager, right? Some folk are saying the manager will need to go. The truth of the matter is the board will need to say that he needs to go. The fans can't, because they can, of course, if they wanted to. But, they can't push the manager out. The manager will turn and say it's the players. And I, for one, as a fan, and I don't know how many others would agree with me, I, for one, blame the players virtually 100%. The poorest attitude to being a Rangers player I've ever seen. Shocking.
Yeah, and we said that we could beat with a Liverpool side whose budgets massively outstrips us. Well, I bet you the difference between the team we played on Saturday, percentage-wise, and Liverpool, will be similar. Anyway, we've been joined by Alex Wishaw. Hopefully he's in this time. Evening, Alex.
Good evening, Oaks here. Bridgeman, Southside, and Ian. How are we doing?
All right, mate.
You all right, Alex? Aye.
I'm
Good
fine,
to hear
thank
you, Alex. Good to hear you, pal.
I'll tell you my take on it now. I've came to the conclusion, I thought, we're just an average team. And I believe the expectations that we've got now are far too high in demand for the players we've got at present. And we need to rein it in. I done a wee experiment here on Saturday. I normally sit in the enclosure and I decided to swap my two sons. They sit in the Copeland here just to get feedback round about the park. And I've got to say, it's the exact same all over. The performances are absolutely dire. And they're leaving in droves. They're folk going away to the pub. We've one of the biggest supporters clubs out. There were 19 on the bus on Wednesday night going to the Dundee game. That's all the tickets. That's the tickets all paid for. You couldn't give the tickets away. Saturday, 28. That tells you what the support think of the performances. I'll go into the game now. We're up the park and Kate at a chance. 2 minutes later, Livingston break. James Tavernier, as I spoke before, is nowhere near fit. All today was put the ball at the park. But for some reason, he does something stupid. The boy breaks away from him and they scored a perfectly good goal. And by luck, they could have been 2 up just after it. And this is it. With 70-odd crosses into the box and there's nobody there. And I've made the point before, the reason nobody makes the box, the team's not fit enough. By the time they run, they've not got the fitness to go back. And I've come down now thinking, the only solution I see, I stood by the manager for a long, as I've said before. I was against him there, but I felt so sorry for him. And this is my take on it now, Oxia. He's either got to go or the director. The football's got to go. And I'm inclined now it's got to be Ross Wilson. And give Gio the chance now to get some money and get his own players in, or we're never going to solve this. What do you think of that?
I don't think you're alone in that thinking, mate. Southside. You go and mute, Alec, when you're not talking, mate. Cheers, brother.
I heard you, Alec. I think I heard you last week, and usually you make great points. You're respected on here, mate, for what you say and talk about the Rangers, And I did hear you say you'd maybe gave up the ghost with Gio that week, I still think he's got faults, mate, right? We watch the team every week, and he's some players you think that. I think a lot of the players have just went stale now. They've had that many injuries. Some just can't run, but we're totally unfit as a squad, and that comes down to Giovanni and his backroom team. I think Ross Wilson's got to take some of the blame. And I think if we do have a change of manager, then I think we should look at a change of director of football as well. And I know he'll say, well, I got Calvin Bassey, look at the money I got in. He gave players contracts. He's let that squad age. He's responsible for it. We give him full responsibility, Alec, for to run Glasgow Rangers football department. And if you're looking at the signings, and some have been all right, and some might come good that we've signed, maybe Yilmaz and Ben Davis, probably Tom Lawrence, and Cholak looks all right as long as you supply him with a service. But apart from that, I think he's responsible for Gein Arfield and McGregor and that. And maybe looking to buy a goalkeeper at the start of the season, and especially buy 2 creative midfield players. So I think the board should be looking at him if they're considering looking at the manager at any point as well, mate, to be honest. And because it's going to be a full rebuild next season, where some of the players will get to stay, but I think a lot of them will be gone, at least 10, and it's going to be a full rebuild. And it's do you trust Ross Wilson first to rebuild a squad, and secondly to appoint the next Rangers manager?
Bridgeman?
I think we're verging into the politics of it, and I dare say that's as far as we have to go. We have to go deep in. But I would rather leave that to the managers and the boards. I just want to be able to go to Ibrox and see my team playing. I'm sorry that some of the players in the squad, we were just speaking about Ben Davies. He's just back. We get him back, the injury, and Golson goes. Then the shall we say, the big hole missing in our defence with Tabs. Tabs really poor, and his athleticism is gone. So something's not right, and that's missing. That's missing for our game. We're not getting up the park and getting shots at the goal and things like that. When he does have a shot at goal, he's miles away. And our 2 fullbacks are kind of struggling for form and confidence. and maybe even fitness as well, truth be told. So when the big man says that there's some of them where lack of fitness is causing a problem, it might be that. It might be that, and I don't know. That then has to be looked at by the coaches. But I think we'll get at the present moment, you've got choices to make. Who would you choose between the boy Wright and the boy Sakala? These are not the quality players that we want to make a choice on. We're looking for some really good players. Do we play Joe Aribo or some other star? We need more players. We get their players back fit. And how did our players get injured in the first place? What was the matter with them? So on and so forth. These are the things that a lot of the fans want to know. We want to know why we're bereft of skills and quality. But some of our players are absolutely looking poor. Absolutely looking really, really poor. So I'm not saying any more about them now. Being upset.
You want to answer the question?
Oh, sorry, there's a rant there. Sorry. What was the question? I forgot what the question was. I went past it. What was the question?
Right, okay, I'll answer it for you. Right. You should have been a politician. Alec, I think the beginning and the end for Ross Wilson was when he walked in with Aaron Ramsey. It was a very positive signing, and we all thought this would be the guy. Well, a lot of people thought this will be the guy with a wee bit of quality certain games to get us over the line. We never thought about Seville when he walked in the door, but we thought he'd help us get retain the league. Ultimately, it was a disaster. Why I think it was the beginning and the end, because Ross Wilson walked in with him, look at me. And that kind of role, I think he should be in the background. And it should be the football manager who's there in that place and doing that. He was taking the credence for it. Well, if you take the credit for it, you're going to take the flak when it goes wrong, Malik.
There's fair comments. I've just tried to balance it as best I could. I went between the manager and the director of football going there. But once I was there on Saturday, I felt so sorry for the guy. I really did. The players are not there. There's no quality, as I've said before. Now, one's got to go. The two of them, you've either got to make your choice here. If you take Van Bronckhorst, you take the full backroom staff, the full lot. Everybody knows the team's all fit and what's happening at the training and all these injuries, the full lot. I was just looking at it from a different angle. I just think Ross Wilson get the purse there. And if he's supplying these players that we're led to believe, and they're nowhere near Rangers class, let's be quite truthful. We gave extra a year there to players that were supposed to be on the squad, not to be playing every week. Stevie Davis playing 90 minutes, man of the match, and then he comes back, he's playing again. He's playing guys that seem okay, and they're dropped for the selection the following week. We keep going about Van Bronckhorst. I'm just trying to balance it my own way here. No, there's one of them going to go. This is for definite, because the fans are going to vote with their feet here. I've already explained this before. The luck that Rangers have got the new is all the money's been paid up front for season tickets and European ties a lot. See if this was just going game to game now. This is like watching Rangers were in the lower divisions and that again. And it certainly isn't good enough for any Rangers supporter getting in there. And that's where we are now, Ox there. Absolutely awful. We're coming out the game, everybody's the same. So they've got to get it sorted one way or other. It can't honestly keep going. Or they're going to be, see this great big waiting list that they're talking about, everybody's dying to get season tickets. That'll change. Mark my words.
So what you're saying, Alec, we might not be afford to make the changes, but we can't afford not to make the changes. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. Something has got to be going there. Really. We can't go on like this. Play during the week. They're a first division team. Let's be quite truthful. We go there, we scrape the victory, albeit it's a cup tie. We can expect a Livingston. We know the size of Livingston, big strong team, the full lot. They took away but twice. That's all they done during the game and defend it with their lives. We had 70 odd crosses in the box. As I said before, people's only get the players in the box. Rangers players aren't even fit to make the full run to last 90 minutes. It's an absolute joke. Compared with what Bridge says here, 6 months ago we were in Seville. Nobody can put their finger on it, but something serious has got to happen here. The Liverpool result, I've said it before, that 7-1 result in there that Hammond totally depleted the full lot, the club, and most of all the support. And this is where we're playing Napoli now. And let's be quite truthful, we'll be sitting behind the couches watching this. And this is what it's all about now. Try to stick by the team, but it's very difficult getting in there. And I'm a diehard like the rest of you, but it's getting borderline. It's getting borderline now.
Southside, before we go for break.
Alec makes a lot of good points. The thing is, Alex, it's like we say, Gio will carry the can because results and performances will be down to him. So you might we might appoint a new manager in time or whatever we do. Maybe we might be wrong. Maybe Ross Wilson would work out in time and maybe he'll do this. But I think what we need to know is who's picking the players. And if Gio's still there come the AGM, I'm sure he'll be asked who sanctions these players at the end of the day. And like you say, we've got one or two that aren't good enough, look like anyway. Matondo for me, unless there's a mass improvement in that boy, or we play him on the left, but he was playing, I just don't see it. Alec, you don't see any skill level in it. You don't see a trick up his sleeve, a step over and go by a player, take a man on. Just don't see it in the boy at all. I can see a lot of pace get at the byline and that, but the club needs an overhaul. We knew it last season and we knew it coming end of this season, whether we won the league or no. A lot of the players need to go and we need a total revamp of the club, players-wise, and we need more dynamic players. And whether Gio will be controlling that, I think it'll go over the next couple of weeks. I think you can take Napoli out of the equation, but I think Aberdeen, St Johnstone, I think they'll look at the results coming up and that will determine whether he'll stay or go, I think.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But they've got to be some sort of, they've got to make a decision here. It's one or the other. Because I'll be quite truthful now, Southside, this team is not capable of going to before the World Cup and get maximum points. There's no way. They're dead in their feet. And we're seeing through blue tinted glasses. I see it myself. I go, we're going to Aberdeen. Let's be quite truthful. That's no a gimme. And you wouldn't put bad money on them. So something serious are going to go. And if we're going to hang back, we're going to be that far out of the league.
And I just say before we go to the tune, Alec, and I'll come back to this point, but just what I say is before we go to the tune. Yeah. See if you were the director of football and you were planning the football department and you seen the calendar for this year, would you give older players main parts of your squad the way the football is coming thick and fast this season up to the World Cup? Everything's concertinaed into it. It's a unique season. Anyway, get yourself a mute because we're going to have a tune.
Our money has been stolen. We know it isn't fair. We know that no one likes us, but we don't really care. We know that they'll abuse us and kick us while we're down, but we are Glasgow Rangers and we will rally round. Never mind not walking away, that's just what the papers want us to say. Our war cry is no surrender. Never mind not walking away, that's just what the papers want us to say. Our war cry is no surrender. It's seen in Rangers scarves and flags and written on the wall. Across the world the cry is known, it's part of our football. They can try to copy, but they'll never be apart. 'Cause we are Glasgow Rangers, and it's written on our hearts. Never mind not walking away, that's just what the papers want us to say. Our war cry is no surrender. Never mind not walking away, that's just what the papers want us to say. Our war cry is no surrender. What the papers want us to say, our war cry is no surrender. Never mind not walking away, that's just what the papers want us to say. Our war cry is no surrender. Our war cry is no surrender. No surrender.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, I thought about what I said there, Alec. You back with us, yeah?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm going to play devil's advocate against my own argument and then let you come in. And I get it. Maybe the length of contracts, the extensions for 4 years, guys at a certain age, giving the guys a year in the season. But then if you're going out to try and get people, you think, right, okay, we need to get through this year. We're going to build the midfield. We look to bring in a new centre forward, build the defence, and hopefully get through for a year. But there was still no creativity there. They brought in Tillman and the boy Tom Lawrence. Obviously, Tillman's a young boy, so you just have to take what you get. Lawrence, again, were unlucky. But I would have gave Arfield and Davis maybe a year's contracts and seen the logic behind it. But when you look at this season and you see where all the games are concertina and all, it just doesn't make sense, does it?
Well, it's a gamble. But I believe the year that he gave them was for really introduce other players in that. And they'd be bit part players. And the way it's worked out with injuries, we're having to play these guys all the time. That's been a gamble and it's probably backfired. Everybody says that we need fresh legs. We've been saying it from day one. People can't understand how Sands doesn't get in the middle of the park. The one guy is American. You know about Americans, they're coached properly. They're very fit. And he's probably got the legs in there just to help us that bit. I just don't know. The selections have been up and down. As I say, we've got to make one decision one way or the other. Who's got to go here? If it's either the manager or else the director of, what do you call it, football. I just think now, if we're going to give Van Bronckhorst the money and let's see if he can build his own team, that's how I'm kind of getting swayed now.
Would you get rid of the director of football? Do you think it's just another job that we don't need?
Well, that's what I'm just saying. If you think of the director of football, Newcastle was one of the first teams to try this out there. They brought, what you call it, Dennis Wise in when he was under Mike Ashley down at Newcastle, and it went pear-shaped. All it done was cause, what do you call it, hostility between the teams. Now, some of these guys have got, they're picking the players and they're handing them down. You're just hoping it's the type of player that you like. I don't know how it works. It was always a way back. The manager went away, sent the scouts out. They reported back, we've got an inside left here, an inside right, we've got wingers. That's the guy we're looking for. I hear now we're looking at a centre forward, what I've seen in social media. I don't know if that's true or no, the boy Yates doing at Blackpool. Let's be quite truthful. If we're going for a striker now, it's the same scenario. There's no service going in for big Cholaks. The two wingers, we need two wingers badly that can beat men and get to the byline. And unfortunately, we've no got that. Albeit Kent came on and probably played his better game the last quarter of an hour. But that's just not good enough.
He kept going, Kent, to his credit, mate. He kept going.
He kept going. But we've been watching him out of the season all year, and he's been nowhere near. And he did come on a wee bit there. But we need a refreshment, a good recruitment. I know January is not the best time to buy players, but surely there must be something out there better than we've got now.
Southside.
Alex, see when you take Tillman out that team and you put in Glenn Kamara, right? Who's our only creative player on the park? Ryan Kent. You know, it's all that responsibility in it, put onto him. And he's in the final year of his contract, and we can all accept he'll probably go. And that's down to Ross Wilson. He's a guy that sets up the budgets, looks at the players, looks when to move them on. If he thinks there's an inclination that they're not going to be signing, then he will take the gamble. He might turn round if he's asked this question at AGM and say, well, do you know what? We kept 2 players. We kept Alfie and we kept Kent. And he might say, well, they got us to the group stages of the Champions League. Well, Kent and Alfie never took part, did he? So
that's right.
But he might look at it. He might look at it and say, "Well, I kept him, and we got into the Champions League, so we're going to get that X amount of money. And if we don't get into in January, then they can walk." If I'm honest, we've had our money out of Alfie, but theoretically, Alfie should probably get punted when a decent offer had come in, because now we've got this situation where he's sitting there and he's going to walk for nothing, basically, and so is Kent, and that falls on Ross Wilson, because we gave him the control of the playing squad, who comes in, who comes out, how long they sign for, how much they get. That's all down to him. But fitness, tactics and the style of play all come down to your manager. And I think probably coming up to the next couple of league games, Alex, that will come down to Aberdeen and St Johnstone. And if we play decent and maybe get 2 good results, then I think it will take the pressure off them. But we should still go to be asking the question, who picks these players? Who gets the final say?
Good point, Susie. Good point. I think we'll got myself in a predicament there. And recruitment has been poor, but we don't know all the details. That's the problem, Alec. Ross Wilson said, yeah, these players were ended up with, but they were our third choice, not our first choice. Yeah, we didn't have the revenue to get the other players in, but it's the number of players we're bringing in, the number that are failing, mate, yeah?
Exactly. But the beginning of the season and that, the friendlies and that with West Ham, they thought that Matondo was our player. Every player we sign is a gamble, but these guys, when you're seeing now, we're only a quarter into the season. They're running in empty, some of them. The wingers that we've got, you've got right there, Sakala and Matondo. Let's be quite truthful. It's like picking a ticket between the 3 of them, who you want in your team. None of the 3 of them are really convincing. So we're fighting for a place out in the right wing. You end up putting Arfield out there. God's sake. When I seen him out there against Livingston, I thought, God, we can't be that bad. I just don't know now. We just want to see our team going on the park and putting a good performance and putting a team that's worthy for the fans. And it's just not happening now. About the contracts running down, that's just part and parcel of football now. We should really get it tied up, but we've benefit ourselves, like Lundstrom and that, these guys coming in. So it works both ways in that, but certainly with Kent and Morelos, they've had the ideal opportunity. And you're right, Morelos has probably paid his money back, the European games and that we've had. Get into the European game and that what you're talking about. we should have been better prepared for to get into the Champions League as what we've got. And it just proves, everybody thought we had a right good squad. And I'm afraid it's exactly the opposite. We've got a guy playing right back there, James Tavernier, and let's be quite truthful, we've been saying it for weeks and weeks. The guy is no fit. But if there's any competition in there, that's what you get. That's exactly what you get.
See if he is fit, Alex. See if he is fit.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. His performances, the guys were growling. They're growling in the stand about him. When he lost the ball for the goal, you want to hear the growls all and about. The guy stood up in front of me. He never sat down. You'd end up tapping him. Mate, you need to sit down here. He was absolutely getting off his nut. And this is what's happening. There's voicing on to the supporters. And what you want, you don't want it to be like that and we all start arguing amongst each other and get out. They're getting in droves, dogs there. You want to see them. Just get up and go on. And this is what we've got here. Something has got to seriously be sorted here. Whether, as I say, it's the manager or else it's Ross Wilson.
Can I come in, Alex? Oops. Can I come in? Is all right, please?
Of course you can, Brad. Of course you can.
Okay, cheers, pal. I'd just like to say, Alex, there was never any problems in the Copeland rear until you went there. Why is that? People were leaving the droves, you're saying. Copeland rear. Wow. I never left.
No, I never left either, but I've seen guys all going. I see them all get out of the clothes over that set.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, seriously, I said it earlier, the place was, could have left at half time, to be honest. Easily.
You've got to say, it hurts, Bridget, it hurts, but you just got to tell the truth. It's annoying. It really is what we're seeing. The performances are absolutely awful. Let's be quite truthful about it. And we're going to all you do is get a good team on the park and get in there. It's no to win every game. Hopefully we can do it. We're not that silly. But you've got to put performances up. Dundee and Livingston. Nah. Deary me.
Well, I look at it one way. Sorry guys, just for a second. I look at it one way. As of now, what we've seen is we've had a good season and won a league, right? Stop them getting their 10, as they say. And then last season we got all the way to the final of a European tournament. Just fantastic. And won a Scottish Cup. And so, can't be bad. For me, can't be bad. Better than we were 10 years ago. And blah, 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 blah. But this season, went out and I watched them playing some of the worst football. Some of the most disinterested players. Against Liverpool in the second half was a shock. Absolutely shocking. Once that third goal, and in fact, once Liverpool's equalised, and they knew the ball was up. But we played on really well. Good first half. Second half, mince. And that's been it since then. Sorry, that's my thing.
And you go Southside?
Alex, I think I don't understand it. Why would you want to go to the ground before half time? I did see a couple of people at half time. I looked out where I stood, and I could see Bears leaving. I don't get it. I know we're supposed to love the team and want to go and support it, and when we're going through a hard time, try and stay there and support the team. I know it's hard in the games
at
Livingston and Dundee, but
So Southside, are you saying to me, if it was the support that drove us home in the great result against Leipzig, the negativity coming from the stands affects the teams as well? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you could say that's got a part, but I think the team shot a bit of confidence, to be honest. But it doesn't help, does it, when it's empty? And at one point it was still 1-0, and you're just looking around about and you're like, man, the stands are empty, and everybody's got the right to go. Don't get me wrong, but see, to be honest, Ox, we've seen it before. We've seen it back. Alec, you've seen it. You've seen it in the 80s and the 90s and all that, and before Souness came, how many we used to get at Ibrox, and then what happened when Souness came, the amount of people that turned up. And no doubt, when we're no winning, a lot of people will maybe start no going back or don't want to go, and that's up to them. But at the end of the day, we've just got to, it's one defeat and 2 draws in the league campaign. That's what it is at the moment.
You're 100% right. We're the greatest fans in the world, but we're fickle as well. And some folk don't take performances that's really dire. They don't take it that well. And you hear all the arguing. You hear it, it's difficult. I just like that. They pay their money. To me, they're entitled to do what they want. I try to stay in as long as I can. I stayed to the death. But I must admit, I walked out after 5 goals at a Liverpool game because I just couldn't take anything more. I get down to Loudon and Mo Salah scored again and another goal. So I'm part of that division, I know, I suppose. I think it just comes to the breaking point, what you can take and what you can't take. I know some guys just get up and they go, 1-0 down. You're thinking, God, they've still got 3/4 of the game to go, but if that's what fans do, but it's a shocker and it'll get worse. I'm telling you, if they don't start producing good football, it'll get worse. I'm sorry to say, but that's how it'll be with the fans.
If you could ask a board one question, Alex, what would it be?
What would it be? The board?
Mm-hmm.
I would just say to them, please put a team on there that the fans can go
That's
and
not
recognise.
A question, mate. That's not a question. That's a statement.
What?
Question.
The board?
Mm-hmm.
What would I ask the board? To invest in better quality players.
Right. So you would ask where the revenue was coming to invest in quality players then, yeah?
Well, they're bound to have a bit of money there, I don't know.
I don't know, mate. I think people get a wee bit carried away with the thoughts.
No, I'm just an ordinary punter. I'm just saying, to me, they're bound to have money. I don't know how much money they've got, but surely they must.
I don't think the revenue, the turnover will be up, but I don't think the profit will be as much for the last year as some people think. Anyway, I think Davy's joined us, the Malteser kid.
Good evening, ladies. How are we doing?
I think you've got nights mixed up. Liz and Linda are
Ladies?
on the night, mate.
Who are you talking to?
No, you anyway, sweetheart.
Listen,
Okay,
Davy, if
yeah,
you're
what
going to
you're
come on
saying
here,
now,
if
come
you're
on.
going to come on and insult us, we're not going to let you on. That's my job.
Anyway, how you doing?
All right, mate. You?
Good fun. Okay, well, I mean, I've said it. I've been saying it for months. We've all been saying it for months. We're not as good as what we think we are. And it's come to fruition. But regarding Saturday, I mean, we could dissect this, and we're just going, well, we're actually just going round in circles here. Tab's not fit, this, she's not fit, that's not fit. It's obvious. I mean, and this, I've been on about it a few times, that he's carrying an injury. That is a load of tosh. If he's carrying an injury, so is about 6 other ones. And it sticks you a mile. And you know one thing that really got up my hooter apart for the score was when David Martindale turned in and says, Rangers were there for the taking. The manager obviously telling you that. I should be ringing alarm bells to all that mother there who's, if they're concerned about getting us a decent game of football and doing something about it. But unfortunately, guys, it ain't going to change right away. I'm sorry to say. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. It's not going to change unless you bring in players. We know we're short of quality, particularly in midfield, Southside. That was midfield. Oh.
Aye. David, we'll put this, maybe Martindale's ambitions are getting a gig or something, you know, we come out with a couple of statements. At the end of the day, shocking performance, we got a point out it. It wasn't good enough. But if you look at it, I still think the board will look at the next couple of weeks for the next 2 league games. That's my honesty, and I think the players should take a good hard look at themselves and all, and start to think, well, if we don't really agree with the manager's tactics, if that's what they've got, any of them have got in their head, you should still go at least out and try for that support, that pay good money, and for the club that we all love and we want to see win. That's a minimum they should be doing. Minimum. And Davey, honestly, I respect your opinions, but I've watched her week in, week out, mate. Honestly, see after the ball, he's labouring. Honestly, you look at the way the boy ran away from him twice in Saturday. He has, and why he's playing him, probably because he either doesn't want to play the young boy in there who is a natural right back, probably not good enough. the team's experiencing enough problems now without flinging more young boys in at right back. Maybe you could say he could have played Sands in there. But apart from that, I believe Tav has got some type of problem. Injury-wise, mate.
Yeah, the thing is, Southside, he's coming on at a press interview and he's telling you he's no injured. So if he's not injured and he's telling you that, he's a liar.
There's many players have said they're no injured when they are on the park and tried and then had to come off.
The manager's saying he's no injured.
Well, that's for everybody. Well, I don't think a majority is wrong because he looks injured, Davey. He runs as if he's injured. He's got no burst of pace. He can't get up.
Yeah, I know that. The nearest off the team.
Well, Ridvan has come in the team and he passed a ball and he can bomb forward. You've seen it. Tav could do that. He was doing it. We've watched him do it for nearly 5 seasons. He was up and down that touchline. But he's not doing it this year.
That's because they'll not take a chance on bringing a young boy in.
Aye. And by the way, see if we have played him on for Alex, and it turns out to be true, and we've went through this, and it's no got us anywhere. It's not been fair on the captain and the player, and ultimately, it's not been a wise decision, is it?
Well, this is the thing. Something's going to happen there. He's going to take a slight stint. I'll put him out for months. Because you're at the games and that, and you definitely know he's no the same as his previous year. Up and down the wing. That's his game. Athleticism up and down, get to the byline. He's reluctant to go over the halfway line, to be quite truthful, because he's not got the pace to get back. So if the guy's saying he's fit, and the manager's saying he's fit, that's it. You go on with it, but the bottom line is it doesn't say a lot for the young boy Divine either. If he's come right through the academy, I mean, it's Livingston we're playing here, and it was Dundee. They were chances to play the boy just to see what he's got. But if that's what they're going to be then, you see what happened when he played Alfie for months and months. It put him right out again. I don't know. I'm not in there. I'm not the medical staff. I'm nothing. I'm only what I see on a Saturday afternoon, and he certainly doesn't look fit to me.
So, said there can't be that many months between Divine and Sands, really, Sands is young. Sands is young as well, mate. Yeah.
Aye. Yeah, but sorry, I was going to say something, but no bother. No, it's all right. No. I was thinking. I just think the boy Divine, Alex, he looked all right a wee bit at Tynecastle and that. I just think we had already brought in the young boy King into defence and that, and then we're asking. I know against Dundee and Livingston, you think you should be able to play the young boy. I thought I gave Tav a rest, and he featured. Don't know why, baffling. But I just think it's how we go forward now, Ox. It's how we
regroup.
We regroup for forget Wednesday. I know we'll need to group. It's the energy it's going to take out on Wednesday night. That team, whatever team he picks, is going to use up so much energy, and then we need to get it back to go again on the Saturday against Aberdeen. Because let's be honest, it's the league. They know it's our main priority. It's our main priority for me every year, but it becomes even more a priority because we can't afford another slip up now. We've already made an RC on Saturday, so it's how Gio gets his players now to galvanise and go and play for him firstly, but the support in the club that they play for, whether you're going to believe in or no, your duty is you're signed by Glasgow Rangers and we want a performance at you, and if no, then surely they'll soon start getting told for the stands, and we'll need to get a manager, then I'll need to start leaving them out. But we left Kent out, mate, and we didn't get any better on the wings. For me, I would stick with Scott Wright on the right hand side, and that's what I would do now, and just give him a run of games.
All right, we've been joined by Bob J. Good evening, Bob J.
Hi, evening everyone. How you doing?
Hi, Bob.
All right.
Evening, Bob.
I think you sound like you've got the chin on the chest like me. Lads, I'll just say in a nutshell, I'm worried about my club. I'm worried about my famous old club. And I see the way it's staggering from game to game at the moment. And here we go on a really tough programme this week with this side on Wednesday. And, Aberdeen, okay, I always think we can overcome them, but I'm really worried about our club, and I don't know what the answer is. I just hope sometime, somewhere, it gets better very quickly, just like the rest of it. Here he's all analysing it out there as usual, but I'm really worried about the future of our club. Like, how do you all feel about that?
That points towards a change. Alex?
Oh, Bob, Jerry, I've just seen what I think. It's worrying times, the performances in that. I just can't pinpoint it myself, to be quite truthful. We're used to seeing, we've seen some right bad teams, let's be quite truthful. We've seen some right good Rangers teams. But this team, there's no consistency. Nobody wants the ball. You can get through it all. Everybody looks lethargic. It's just the same. It's like a bad record what we keep repeating. I'm just trying to work it out myself, what I seem to think, and I'm probably wrong and all. But I just get in there, hope my team. Listen, any team that's playing Rangers now, I'll be thinking I've got a chance. Aberdeen will be thinking they can come in here on Saturday, and Rangers are there for the taking. That's the bad thing about it. We've got to step up the performances. And the game on Wednesday's not the greatest game to give any confidence to get again on Saturday. Because this will burn us right out. And hopefully we come out, we know a bad result. If we take another hammer, you don't know the effect it's got. Maybe not on the players, but on the support. And that's what I feel it like, you know. But I totally agree. We've got to try and do something and get to a better place.
Southside, I think it's pointing towards change, mate. I lost them, Southside.
Sorry, sorry, no. That's why I think I hit mute. Did I hit mute after? Sorry.
Carry on.
Listen, change might come, as we've said. I think it'll determine on the next few league results. But at the end of the day, if change comes, there will be change. There'll need to be a lot of change at the end of next season, for the start of next season. So that will decide on the board. They need to come up with a decision. And if you're going to clear one out, you need to make sure the other one that you trust first and foremost to get our next manager right. Because at the end of the day, he pointed Giovanni, and I've stopped by him up. And you know, when everybody was asked on here a way back,
wasn't your first choice? No,
I said no for me, but I backed him and I've supported him. But you'll get a breaking point, and it's coming soon for me. Alex had it, and you know he's having a bit of a rethink, considering what we're working with. But I still think Alex, he's at fault for quite a few things. But at the end of the day, we just need to. We've had one draw, and 2 draws and 1 defeat, and the performances need to get better, and that's what we hope for. They start to improve, and you can take Wednesday out of the equation for me, to be honest.
So, Simon, we're talking about managers at the beginning, and I did say when they say it was Gio, I was like yourself to try and get the net a bit wider. I mentioned Graham Potter with Billy Reid before he went down to Brighton. I thought Billy Reid out at Hamilton Accies, that'd be a good match. Him coming into the Scandinavian countries. The rest of history with that guy. You see where he's ended up. Whether we could afford to get him or not at the time is a different thing. But he was one of the names I mentioned away at the very beginning. Everybody was settled for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst because the connections to the club and what a wonderful footballer he was. And we all bought into it. He took us there to Europa final. By the time our lives were there, unfortunately, we just missed it and won the Scottish Cup. All we're talking about the now is the performances, the now, what's happened for the beginning of the season. And it's put a kind of a downer on it. And I hope we can get it sorted one way or the other.
Yeah, we've been joined by Big Al. Evening, big man.
Evening, gentlemen. It's great to be on with such an illustrious panel.
Thanks, Al.
He's a minute, Alan will get rid of old Davy.
I get rid of him in case Linda comes on. The one I'm cutting the grass. What was I going to say? So the thing with James Tavernier, what is he? He's like Marmite, isn't he? You either love him or hate him. So the managers came out and said he's not injured. He said he's not injured. There's still debate whether he's injured. Yeah, so I just don't think he's very good. That's my personal opinion. And if he's not injured, but he is injured, the manager and the captain of the club are lying to our faces. So what is it, boys? What is it? Are they two of them liars? Or is he just not very good?
Economic will be the truth, Big Al.
So they're liars then. Right. You're either a liar or you're not. It's as simple as that. There's no economics with its truth. So that's my take on that.
You're either pregnant or you're not.
Correct, Amindo. Look, I do think it's time for change. I think you can see.
Can you sense it, Big Al?
Aye. It's what was the analogy you used the other day there? And I was thinking about it. It's like, what is it, like a rolling stone gathering moss? Well, ours is covered in moss at the moment.
The snowballs.
Snowball effect. That was what you used. I thought you were talking. You still got a pack of the 4 McGee snowballs, or I could go a couple of them for my breakfast.
Well, would you like a couple of them? Will we send you some goodies over?
Aye, and a couple of Empire biscuits, man. You just can't get the things like a good Morton's rolling crisps.
Get some.
Aye. Good into the show, man.
I'll enjoy that. He likes a Scottish
I'd enjoy that, boys. I would enjoy that.
Big Stevie to send it, but all you get was the rappers, Big Al.
How is Big Papa getting on? Is he all right?
He'll be back on Wednesday, mate. He's been busy.
Oh, that's good. I'll try and give him a phone. I'll get up. It's actually good timing for me. I got up from my work and I've been listening for the past hour, so I got up a wee bit early just for you. You're special. But anyway, back to the football. Look, who was it we played? We played the first division team a couple of weeks ago. Who was it? I'm going to say Stranraer.
Queen of the South.
Aye, Queen of the South. Right. So we played Queen of the South, and that was pretty much the same kind of team that we put out against Dundee. Yeah, similar kind of results, similar style of play. So we were all kind of shouting for Siscala, but he came on again, and the Dundee game wasn't very influential. He had the game in between the two of them. He seemed to have a wee bit of a run about and hanging. So I'm not picking on him specifically, and I don't want to cut our support in the Zambia or the Gambia, wherever he's from, but it just shows the depth that we've got in the squad. We have nobody to fill in the places. Big Southside's right. I thought Scott Wright. He's not my favourite player, but I thought he put a bit of performance in the other week there, and then he gets dropped. I think he's a kind of player. And bearing in mind we were scratching it, we're at the bottom of the tin here. Putting players into positions. If you play him the right, I think he needs a couple of weeks running the team. Yeah, but we're snooker. It's time for change, but it's got to be a hell of a lot of changes, man. Isn't it? You've got players that are going to leave the club with my best wishes, but we've got players that are there that are only going anywhere. That I think if a new manager comes in, you might get that initial bounce effect with them, but I think it'll just fall back into type. So there has to be a solid investment in the club. Bring in a manager. I'm not sure about foreign coaches. I think we need to go back to square one. And another thing I think that has to be left and forgot about in the past is reference to what happened to us. Because I think that just breeds a victim mentality, and I think a lot of that hangs over the top of the players. That victim mentality thing, and I think it hangs round about the club. We have to move on for that until you completely forget about that and leave it where it was, close it up, put it in a box, and just forget about it. I think the victim mentality is not good for us because I think it hangs over the support. It hangs over the directors. It hangs over any manager that's going to come in because it can be used as an excuse. Oh, where we were 10 years ago. I'm not a victim. I don't want my club to become a victim. That's my rant for the morning.
Right, okay. If you, Big Al, you're a professional man, if you had to make 3 changes, 3 moves, what would they be?
First of all, I'd go and look for proper investment. I'm talking about a sugar daddy. When I look at the board at the moment, there's the percentages of the board. The club's run by committee. You've got to have 2 or 3. There's people with £1 million here, £2 million here, £3 million. They all have conflicts of interest. So I don't think that works well. I would get a captain. I think there's captains there. I would change the captain because I just don't think he's not got the personality as for a captain. James Tavernier. I'd probably pay his contract to and just start afresh, and definitely a new manager. I know this might sound stupid, but I would look at Martindale. I listened to a podcast the other week there about him. I know he's had his troubles and things like that, but I think that generates a character of man. And he ran the whole I know it's a smaller club, but he ran the whole of Livingston for many years. If you listen to the podcast, I can't remember. It was on. It wasn't a football podcast. It was a kind of life-changing podcast. I like what he says, and I don't care about his past. I'm all for giving people a second chance. I think he could come in and do a job, and because we have to reset. This aspiring to be European players and that. We have to get back to basics and persistently and consistently win the league for a period of time, 4 or 5 seasons, and within that 1 and 2 or 3 cups. Maybe a treble or 2.
Would you keep the director of football?
No. That's why I would bring in a Martindale, because you don't need a director of football. I just don't think you need a director of football.
Right, okay.
We're a different club. You can't always follow the model that's successful for other companies and teams. We're different. We're a niche market. We have ethics and standards that are different to everybody else. So maybe we just need a manager, somebody that can come in and have a wide-ranging sweep across the whole of the club. Yeah. When I was growing up, it was, I know you might not like the names. It was
when you were growing up, Bill Struth was still there.
Aye. That one's getting older. But all it was David Murray and Walter Smith. That's all I knew, and the players. Well, and so I'm happy with that kind of that framework. I'd love a sugar daddy to come back in, and then you're only answerable to the one man. I know it might not be for everybody, but I like that.
There's downsides to that. South side.
I get a lot of what you say, Big Al. I think like we used to, the manager I always think should really pick the players. We should have a scouting network, and then obviously they'll come back and go at him. Here, listen, here's what you're looking for, or this is what we want. But I just think the manager would normally do a bit of stuff like that. But obviously modern football, you want to relax him, you want him just to coach the team, so you're relying on this director of football, and that's what we're going with, and a lot of clubs are doing it. But I just think after Aaron Ramsey, for me, that was enough for me. That was enough to signal no, because that's not what if we're saying we don't have a lot of money, right, and we've got to put it in the market, and if we spend £4 or £5 million on a player, we've got to have him to come in and play and be good. For that amount of money that we're looking for him at that end of the market. And he just sort of went and paraded a player who's we all know has struggled with injury, or might have played in that, and it just didn't work out. And for that, he's culpable. It cost us money. It cost the club money. So, but we've got to look forward, and we've got to get maybe get players at 24, 25, 26 that have done a bit of something, and we want to get them in our team. But we're in this, we're playing Scottish football. The Football League is absolutely rotten. We've got to admit that. The football is rotten.
We're not helping that standard. No, we're not either, you know what I mean?
Well, we've not been playing well, Big Al. As I said earlier, we only had 2 players on that park and hang me through a couple of other players being injured, and also I thought you'd have picked a winger, but we only had Kent and Tillman. That was the only two players on
Did
Saturday.
Matondo get injured on Saturday?
He hurt his back.
Aye.
Season back with that one when the guy was 5 years offside.
But he was a £3 million player, was he not? We paid £3 million for that guy. So, like Southside saying, he should be hitting the ground running. Or you spend a £3 million on a player that's got a bit of longevity, 24, 25, 26, 27, with a bit of experience for the English lower leagues or Scotland or something. You know what I mean?
What I've seen about him
I know.
So far, the piece on the thing, he's getting his cool running, mate.
But that's no Gio's fault, Big Al. He can't make him become a decent player now because he's showed nothing.
Well, is that not what the coach? If Gio's not a manager, he's a coach, and we've got all these other coaches we're bringing in. Is that not their job? You take a raw product and you produce, refine it, and make it a better product. But that might take 2 or 3 seasons. We've not got 2 or 3 seasons. We know as I think Alex said, we're quite a fickle support. We want instant success, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we need to find a different strategy to get that instant success. Previously, before the instant success, we got that by spending a bit of cash and bringing in ready-made players. We can't go and buy Alberts, and we can't go and buy a Loudrop, and we can't go and buy a Basil Bolly, and we can't go and buy a Givash and a Marco Neg. You know what I'm saying? You can't go and spend that big money now. So we have to box clever and find players, but we have to use the youth. We have to use the youth that's already there and doctrinate them, brainwash them into what Big Southside wants: loyalty, strength, focus.
I think that point, and I'll take this to Alex and then Davey. I think the point is, correct me if I'm wrong here, your recruitment becomes very important. That falls at Ross Wilson's door once again. Alex.
Well, that's it. I never even heard of Matondo.
Who's that with the hoodie? That's Southside.
Sorry?
Who's got the hoodie on and the moustache and glasses?
Carry on, Alex.
Sorry. Oh no, it was a gangbanger.
I'd never heard of Matondo. I knew nothing about the guy. Just when he played with Schalke, everybody thought, well, he's got to have a bit of quality. He did, what do you call it, against West Ham. We thought, well, we've got a decent kind of player here. But his performances as well, as I say, you've got the 3 of them, Scott Wright, Matondo, and also Sakala. And you could take your pick with either one of them. There's no consistency. I do agree, by the way, you've got to give them at least maybe 2-3 times on the wing to see what they can do. This chop and change is not helping things, but I don't know. But the recruitment is vital. Now, if Ross Wilson's bringing these guys in, so we're led to believe. I mean, I don't know if Gio's bringing them in, but everybody seems to think it's Ross Wilson. So we'll just go for that scenario. You get through all the signings. They've been very, very poor signings. Some of them have been not too bad, but in general, has been quite poor. The fitness levels of the team certainly falls back to the manager and the coaching staff, what they're doing. So we've got to order the ship here. And this is the dilemma we've got here. Folks swaying either the director of football or else the management side of it. But something's got to be good wide here, because it's absolutely unacceptable, the performances we've got. And we can get in there by, as I said before, you get in there on a Saturday, all you want to see is a team on the park that competes and gives, what do you call it, something to sing about and what we're doing. We score a couple of goals and win, albeit. But that team we've got now, and let's not be kidded about it, that team will not win the league unless we make drastic changes and bring decent players in. Quality players. I know it costs money, but that's how it is. They guys will not do it, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, we watched John McPort. He was here, but he'll hopefully be back again. David and Bob here.
Yeah, I'm all for Big Al. What he's talking about, it's making sense.
Is he sugar daddy? Big Al is a sugar daddy.
I would do it, boys. I swear on my life, I've thought about it, sell a few of my assets, but I couldn't even buy my Tondo.
But what I was going to say there regarding that is I'll never ever believe that your manager, on his experience, took these guys and brought them in and actually paid money for them, because it smacks of Wilson. It smacks him. He's only a glorified scout, and he can't do it right. And until we get that sorted, everyone's just going to stay the same. I'm sorry, guys.
Can I come in for a minute, Ox? Yeah.
Yes, of course you can. Then
it was just to say, you know, we're being negative, obviously, and I'm completely negative because of my disappointment, particularly the Liverpool game. That performance in the first half in Liverpool, Rangers players and team were excellent. I think we started to fade a wee bit when we lost the goal, but the first half performance, outstanding for me, outstanding. And where has that gone? Where has that performance gone now?
It's confidence, man. And by the way, the manager, the players, but the management decision when that game went 2-1 was just farcical. Farcical. When they brought Stephen Davis on and exposed a guy at that age to a fast midfield, a fast team. We were struggling in midfield. He brings on 3 forwards. It was farcical, mate. Yeah? So that's the point that Gio's got to take some blame for, yeah? The decision away in Ajax to play Tillman, some of the things, it's just baffling, and I think it's affected confidence. And I don't think they're the greatest bunch of players, but I don't think they're as bad as they are at the moment. Bob Chair.
Well, I've listened to all the points here. Big Al, you were great, mate, to listen to. Brilliant. Same as you all are. But at the moment, I feel that this squad of players is, and here's a statement, is substandard for the needs of Glasgow Rangers. Regime change, we all can, cost a lot of money, and the clubs now got to face it. No got a lot of money.
But we can't afford, Bob Chair, we might not be able to afford to make the decision, but we might not afford not to be able to make the decision.
Well, at the end of the day, where does the money come from? You're mentioning things there like sugar daddies. Every club's looking for a sugar daddy. Unfortunately, down the road in England, there's plenty of them. Up here, there's not a lot of them. You've just got to sort of go with what you've got, and what we've got at the moment isn't good enough. It's as simple as that. So I'm afraid. I don't like saying this because I like the man, but I'm afraid the manager and his director of football or his chief scout have got to take the blame for bringing these people in. You keep mentioning guys like Matondo and Sakala and Scott Wright, only one position obviously, but to me these guys, they just can't do it. To me the squad is substandard and they're responsible for bringing these people in. But again, it's all down to financial constraints, isn't it? And you're managing a club like Rangers, running a club like Rangers with one hand tied behind your back because of the old age, money. Why we get out it, I don't know. If we've got to, somebody mentioned there a wee while ago what a fickle support we are and that, but we'll have to wait on some good youngsters coming through to get the club back on an equal footing. We're along the road. And Big Alex, right, we'll never win the league with that squad unless there's drastic change made in January. And hopefully we're still hanging on at the back yet. We're hanging on with the fingernails and Yuki's off yet. But we'll never win the league.
Is that as it seems, side? I think just a couple of signings could, and I'm talking about players and the first team players, could make a difference.
It could make a difference. The other thing is, Bob J. right. We picked out PSV. We got a bit of luck, but we played decent in the 2 games. We done Hearts. We done Hearts at Tynecastle when everybody was fearing the worst, and we played no bad in the games. The team's shown that they can. The one that knocked the absolute stuffing out that team was that Liverpool result. That absolutely knocked the stuffing of confidence, I think, out that whole team.
That's right. You were playing against a squad that at one point had £530 million in the park, and they're one of the biggest players in European football. And you're going to be playing against a crack side here again on Wednesday. It's a completely different level, pal. You know that. You didn't need me to tell you.
a day, but we had been playing. We had played in wee spells, Bob J. Our overall play's been pretty rubbish, to be honest. We've carried a bit of luck, but we got results. And while you're not playing so well, you want to pick up the 3 points because you're hoping performances will turn. And that's what we've been looking for. And unfortunately, for Wednesday night in the Cup to go in there on Saturday, we didn't get that lift in performance that we were hoping for. But maybe we just need to settle down and try and get a couple of acquisitions, and hopefully we're still not too far out it. But then we've just got to hope that we can get a bit of confidence when we play Aberdeen and we play St Johnstone, get the 2 results, hopefully get a wee bit of better performance, and then we take it from there. At the end of the day, we were 2 points, we're now 4, but it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of games to go. When Europe starts again, I've already said, I expect them to drop points. I don't care about them, it's about what we do, but I still think they can drop points. So while I still think that, and they probably will, then we should just try and get a team and just get a bit of confidence back, and hopefully just start getting back to winning ways in the league.
Absolutely. I mean, sorry, Ox, when you go,
No, when you go, Bob, Jeff, when you go, mate.
Well, that's absolutely right, aye. But you see the pattern forming here. They've got a lead in the league, and they're playing this exactly. You see, Zono, exactly the same level of opposition as we're playing, and I didn't see them dropping many points to them. I don't see it. It's going to be a long, hard, bitter struggle for us again.
You think we're critical of the team? They beat Motherwell 2-1 at home. At home, we won 2-1 away. We went to Hearts 1-4-0. They forced the line 4-3. Yeah, you can make. And I know you can make statistics mean anything you want, but the trouble is we've took the pressure off them with Saturday's result. We were hoping for a nice 3-0 win. Even if they'd won, we'd have took a couple of goals off, and we put ourselves under pressure that we didn't have to. Yes.
Yeah, no. I've never seen a club in the Rangers for shooting themselves in the foot. Let's be honest with you.
That's because.
But hey, hopefully it'll all get better shortly. It's got to.
All right, Big Al, last word for your good self, mate.
Is Southside looking for a job? I might employ him as a manager for takeover.
Big man, it's like
then you wouldn't need to worry about your Majers and all that. You'd be tickets away. Make Big Stevie your number 2. Stevie your number 2.
Biscuits, Big Al.
I'll give you you can bring you out biscuits and snowballs, big man.
Up to the director's box. No, we'll get Bridgeman or Oxjet to run them up to me. I don't want you leaving the dugout. I would take some board there. Alex, we take the Malteser man, we take Bob Jet. Bob Jet would be the senior citizen of the. He'd be sitting there. I'd get him a nice throne in the middle of that director's box. Look, it's good to leave it on a happy note.
Fox is actually could Fox look after the ladies' team, Big Al?
Aye, Fox is the entertainment manager.
Should maybe put them out
in Turkish barber.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening.
Thank you.
Last word.
Well said, Al.
Last word to yourself, Davey, quickly.
Great show again, guys, and no surrender.
All right. You got your nights mixed up. Linda's known to Thursday, Davey, all right?
Very good.
Alex?
Great show again, Ox there. Bridgeman, Southside. Brilliant video comments and that, opinions. And we just love Rangers Football Club, and we just see it differently.
Bob Chair?
Absolutely brilliant again. A pure pleasure. My favourite show on all of the airwaves. You can stick to YouTube. Give me Rangers Radio anytime. Come on.
Cheers, mate. Southside?
I thoroughly enjoyed the show, mate. Been a lot of good debate. We know what the faults are and all our different opinions and how we try to solve it. So hopefully something positive will come in the next few weeks, mate, and we'll get back to winning ways in this league, and hopefully the Bears will put up a good performance on Wednesday night.
You hear, get a draw, beat Ajax, carry on in Europe. The nose is just getting bigger. Bridgeman?
Oh, what can I say? What a fantastic evening again, once again. Brilliant listening. I'm sitting here listening half the time. It's just great. Listen to some really good comments. Particularly Alex, hope he wish you. And he came into my home, Scotland and he wrecked the joint. And all the fans got him walked out. Shocking. Can I just say, to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio. Massively disappointed. Every one of us are massively disappointed. We need to go to the next game. I don't know what's going to happen, but everybody we must keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us, and this is when they need us now. Keep it going.
Yeah. I think everybody phoned up. Ian for YouTube, Lure Alex for Wishaw, Bob J, Old Davy, Big Al, and of course Bridgeman and Southside. Always chase trip, big man, and bring us back a bit tipping.
I'll try my best.
And if you can't manage your victory, get some Empire biscuits and snowballs for Big Al.
Is Bob J still there? It's just you're no want to be on that YouTube. It's Pornhub you're wanting to check out.
No.
Pornhub.
I'll tell you one thing. The first time a woman seen me naked, she should have seen the speed she ran out the park.
I thought you were going to say she fainted.
You thought it was just you Southside.
Did they not call you the Amoruso of Alawa?
The Amoruso of Alawa. I wish I was hung with Amoruso. According to popular rumour.
No.
There you go.
Listen.
Southside, stay safe.
I need to go to my work here, boys. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
Right, cheers everybody. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Back tomorrow night. We'll be joined by Port Bear and GB, I think. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Take it away, Foxy boy.
See them march on, marching on through the years of history. It's held on high, for the jersey they would do or die. Fight for right, brave again with the badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See